What makes God of War great isn't searching for symbols, rowing, solving puzzles, resource collecting, weapon and armor upgrading, button mashing, or all the climbing. What makes God of War great is its combat. Kratos has attacks, dodges, parries, finishers, and a ton of combos. When I searched for games like God of War, I found some lazy lists made for clicks that barely even try. Games like God of War, 16 similar action-adventure alternatives. God of War 3. Wow, really digging deep, aren't you? Red Dead 2. No. The Witcher 3. Maybe, I'm not sure, it's on my backlog. Hellblade. Barely. The Last of Us. No. Skyrim. Yeah, the game with the worst melee combat ever. That's like God of War. Horizon Forbidden West. Also no. At its core, God of War is a brawler, and I finally found a list that understood that. 8 games like God of War. Get those combos running. It included Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Definitely. Devil May Cry 5. Sure. Rise of the Tomb Raider. Why? Because puzzles? No. But sitting at number 4 was Kena, Bridge of Spirits. Absolutely. Don't let that gorgeous Pixar-like appearance fool you, or this comment from a different list comparing Kena to Borderlands, the pre-sequel, stating, both Kena Bridge of Spirits and Borderlands, the pre-sequel, are games you can play to relax. They won't be anything stressful like Dark Souls, and it will be an excellent way to wind down your day. What? Maybe, if you're playing on easy, Kena Bridge of Spirits is a brawler. A baller brawler. And make no mistake, it's hard, even on normal difficulty. You begin with your basic light attack. And heavy attack. Heavy attacks hit even harder if held before release. And a magical shield, which can only take so many hits before it breaks. Most attacks can be parried, but like most parry windows, it's a challenge to nail it. Got it. Got it? Crap. Oh yeah, she also has a nice double jump from the very beginning. As in God of War, combos start simple. Running light attack, and running heavy attack. A jump and a slam, and a perfect charge heavy attack, where you hold the heavy attack and let loose the moment the crystal in Kena's staff gleams, for massive damage. As you collect rot, these little black critters, they follow Kena around and unlock rot powers. The first of these is a bind ability, trapping an opponent for a short time while Kena wails on them. Rot abilities can be used when Kena has built up enough courage in battle. Courage drops from some kills, but also builds up every time Kena takes damage or deals damage on normal difficulty. On hard, courage builds up only when Kena deals damage. Kena also has a nimble evade move. With Kratos, you have to hit the dodge button twice to get a satisfying roll. Otherwise, he just kinda steps to the side. So I'm pounding the evade key a ton. Kena only requires one press for her dodge, and like Kratos, can chain them indefinitely. The first big rot ability is the Rot Hammer. This unlocks early, and you'll never stop using it. It hits hard, does splash damage, and time nearly stops while being cast. It'll cancel most incoming power attacks too. Use this a split second before Ken is about to get clobbered. In the shield tree, there's a parry counter. Clicking light attack right after a parry makes Kena do a spinning attack, causing even greater damage to an already stunned opponent. 2 other unlocks increase the shield's health bar. Parry Courage is an excellent unlock, giving Kena a rot action after any successful parry. So, if you're good at parrying, these actions will build up quickly, granting more access to her devastating rot abilities. The shield tree doesn't really have an associated rot ability as the other skills do. Instead, the Enter the Fray ability, when unlocked, grants a single rot action at the beginning of any combat situation. You know, instead of starting with no rot actions. Very early in the game, Kena learns how to use her staff as a bow. Unlike the God of War bow abilities, which basically aim themselves, the player has full control over Kena's archery. Draw, aim, release. Hold on the draw for a straighter shot and greater impact. The first bow upgrade is a time slow ability, triggered with a button press and has a brief cooldown. I never use it, because just like in Horizon Zero Dawn, time also slows when Kena is aiming and her feet are off the ground. So when I'm playing, it's just habit to jump before every arrow cast. Combining with a bind ability, Bind Multi-Shot unlocks a passive ability that causes arrows cast into a bound enemy to split and hit nearby enemies. The last 2 arrow unlocks grant Kena 1 more arrow each in her quiver before needing to wait for them to cool down. Once you have enough rot collected, you can unlock the Rot Arrow. Hitting harder than normal arrows, it also pierces to hit enemies behind enemies. The last ability in her tree is the Bomb, which looks and acts like a giant water droplet. It's used in a lot of puzzles, but acts like a sticky bomb in battle. The first bomb unlock causes a bigger explosion if you shoot the bubble before its natural timer sets it off. And the split bomb will send shrapnel into nearby enemies. One of my favorite moves. The next bomb unlock grants 2 simultaneous bombs in action. Splatter Bomb is a passive debuff making enemies more vulnerable to melee attacks after exposure to a bomb. And finally, the Rot Bomb. A bigger bomb which creates a stasis bubble at the detonation site, freezing all enemies within for a few seconds. The last ability you get is the Shield Dash. Activating the shield and hitting light attack zooms Kena forward. It's introduced for some later puzzles, but also works great in a fight. Similar to the runic abilities Kratos can attach to his weapons, Kena can find and unlock Charm Stones, which she can wear, giving her buffs like shield energy restored on a parry, extra staff damage after a parry, or a small health boost after downing an enemy, and so on. Only one Charm Stone can be worn at a time, and none of them has a trigger where she just goes nuts on her enemy. Is God of War a better game? It's definitely a bigger game. More locations, more combos, more details, more characters, more dialogue.
Alright, say it. I told you so.
I told you so.
You are naive, foolish boy.
This is true as well.
Love that one. Bigger budget and more developers. But if challenging is what you're after, playing on normal difficulty, I would say Kena Bridge of Spirits is the more challenging game. At least until you attempt the optional Valkyrie bosses. Now, one thing Kena lacks is the weapon and armor upgrades. And for me, that is a huge plus. Not only does it mean I don't have to grind every map for crafting resources, but also that my encounters with bosses are balanced based on my knowledge of the boss's moves and Kena's skills, and not whether I manage to min-max a loadout. I finished the God of War story at level 4, where I also beat my first Valkyrie. I beat most of my Valkyries at level 4 or 5, and now I'm just a middling level 6. Those Valkyrie fights were really tough, and I died a lot learning their patterns, and then I had to not screw up after I knew what I needed to do. Compare that to this Reddit user who shared, "When I fought Hildur in Niflheim, I beat her very quickly on my first try because she was the last one I fought and I was super powerful by then." I mean, that's fine. No judgment. You have fun gaming your way. But grinding until a boss fight is easy? That's not for me. I want a balanced challenge.
Skill again, skill wrong.
And when it comes to combos, Kratos has so many, I know I haven't mastered all of them. Having completed the story, I was going to finish all the Valkyrie fights just for fun, until I got to Niflheim and realized I was going to have to grind for more resources.
But I can restore it with more mist echoes.
Just for special armor to mitigate Niflheim's toxic fog.
Brother, no!
Forget it. I'm done. I'm not saying either game is a better game. But Kena is less grindy, tighter, and stays balanced. And it's freaking gorgeous in its own right. So, I like it more. As I don't have a PlayStation, I can't opine on Ragnarok. But I'm not trying to convince anyone to prefer Kena over Kratos. According to VG Insights, God of War has already outsold Kena on Steam 8 times over, so that's kind of been decided. So what I am saying is if you love God of War, and you're finally done with it, Kena is a worthy little sister to Kratos, and well worth your time. Thanks for watching. What's the difference between an RPG and an action game with RPG elements? Check out my video, When is an RPG not an RPG? Or this video on how to make unlocking skill trees more rewarding.